Well, here I am. I'm working on the large piece of art work that I'm doing for my son for Christmas, and right now I am just invisible basting this top part here. This piece is made from denim, mostly blue jeans, of quite a few colors actually. Blue, light blue, dark blue, black. I have sort of a beigey color. I even found a white jean or denim shirt. So you can multiply that times 2, because other than the white, if you turn any denim to the wrong side, you get a totally different color. So it's actually, even though it's mostly blue and black, it's still very colorful. It has a lot of variations of those colors. It has gray, it had, oh, there was a little, sort of, it was black on, not black even, it was more of a brownish color, but a gray brown. So yeah, there's quite a bit of color on this, even though it's only made of denim. And it's only made of recycled denim. I cut up old blue jeans, some that were given to me that belonged to family members. I think one of the pair of jeans was Gary's. And then there was a few that I sourced from our little recycle center down here, which there's so many jeans down there, it's ridiculous. But I'm kind of happy it's there, because I can go and get them anytime I want. And it's free, because nothing in that recycle center is for sale. I've said this before to you, I think. You take something there and you leave it, and somebody else comes along, and if it's something that they want, they take it. And so that's how that works. Anyway, I'm just basting this down because this part at the top here is going to be hand stitched. This whole piece is denim. This is the backing cloth. It's just an old sheet, and it's multi-layers of denim, I should add. It's just not one layer, it's piece on piece on piece. So I can't hand stitch that. It's just too difficult for my hands to hand stitch that many layers of denim. So this portion, as you can see, I've started, might give you a bit of an idea what it is. I've started to stitch it down by machine. I have used glue stick to put the pieces down, just to tack them down for now, until I can get this to the machine and machine the whole thing. But I needed to just get this down first, so that it wasn't flopping around or falling to a different spot. It has to be right here where it is. And this part here is not denim. This is a shirt. And actually I messed up, because I wanted to use the back side of the shirt for the whole thing, but I cut it wrong, and I ended up having the front side and the back side. But now I'm happy I did, because actually it's better. I like this idea better. So, but I do need to attach it before I start moving that around on the sewing machine, because this would move too much, and then it's placed in a certain way that it has to be right where it is. So I'm doing the old invisible stitch. Now, my mom, I've told you this before too, she was a seamstress, and she actually had training as a tailor as well. And she did, most of her work was in bridal gowns. Oh, I don't know how many wedding dresses she did. And she did the stitch a lot, because she hand sewed a lot of it. What she would do is she would do a fitting with a sheet first. She'd get an old sheet and she would fit it to the person. She would sew a mock dress, not the whole thing, just the shift part, just the fitted part. And then she would do a fitting with that. And then she would cut whatever the fabric was. And I grew up with the words silk, satin, chiffon, voile, what else? I can't think right now. Those were words that were common in my vocabulary from a young child on, because it was what she was using for her craft. Anyway, once she had the trial piece done, then she would go to, I'm just going to finish this off because I have to work this way. It's just the way I have to work. Then she would cut out the real dress in whatever expensive material she was using. And again, she would cut the dress out, and then she would do this stitch to put it together first, and she would have another fitting before she took anything to the machine. She was meticulous in her work. And she called what I'm doing right now, she called it, I'm just going to see where I based it. I'm going to go, she called it tailor's based, because it is a stitch that tailors have used through the years. I think I might just baste in here. It's how they put lining in things at first. They don't just sew things and go. There's tailors and seamstresses have many, many fittings before the finished product. And I remember her working for hours doing just this, basting something together. So if you don't know, the invisible stitch that's the new term for it, invisible stitch. That's what everybody's calling it, but I grew up knowing it as tailor's baste. You're actually basting your cloth to something. In this case, I'm basting it to this back cloth. But in the way you do it this way, your long basting stitches are at the back. I don't know if you can see them here, but they're all running along the back here. And you don't see anything on the front. Now, there's a tiniest little dot that you could see if you really were looking for it or you knew where it was. Actually, on this fabric, it's disappearing. There's one there. It's so small, and it's a wonderful thing to do because you don't have to take that out after. Now, my mom always removed hers, but for something like this, I'm not going to take it out. I'm leaving it. But it has held that fabric beautifully. I can take all these pins out now, and that fabric is not going to go anywhere. So what you do is you start from the back, put a knot on, come up from the back, and then you just go, just the tip of your needle past where you came up, go in, and then take a nice bite all the way through. I mean, I'm doing maybe 3/4 of an inch because this isn't a precious piece of fabric, so I can do that. And you just keep going along. You just take a hair bite behind the stitch you just did, and you keep going all the way along, and you see nothing on the front. In this case, really, you see nothing, but you can, depending on the fabric or the color of thread that you're using, you can see just a tiny little dot. Very minute. There's one there. But your fabric is secure. So most slow stitchers are using this now when they're doing collage or any kind of thing where they want to, looking for my, I'm looking for my little pincushion. I guess I can't find it. I must have moved it. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Just to keep this stable while I machine that. And then after I get all of that machined, I am going to actually slow stitch this with some embroidery on top here. This is the only place where I'm going to be able to do some hand work on this. And I'm very happy that, oops, I can do that, because I wanted to do a little bit of handwork. So I was thinking, as I always do when I do a big project like this, I think of my mom, because she was a fantastic seamstress. She did so many types of things, but her work as a seamstress was impeccable. And a lot of people don't know that she actually did take courses in dressmaking, in tailoring, and also in millinery. And I have her book here, her lesson book. And I thought it might be kind of neat to show it to you, because I've had this book ever since she's been gone, and I've always wondered what to do with it. But now I have just today thought, you're silly person, you're doing journals, you're doing all these kind of things. Why don't you do something with that book? Now, I got to find my pincushion before I go any further. So this is her book. It's really in sad shape, but it's a treasure. She's got her tracing paper. Remember seeing women back in the day, they would have the little wheel and they would put their fabric on and go like this, and this color would go through. So I have some of that. So there's dressmaking notes, and there's little pieces of fabric, and I'm just so tempted to take these little pieces of wool. There's a buttonhole there and a buttonhole there. I don't have any woolen fabrics that I want to dye some. And here's these beautiful fabrics, but I won't. I absolutely won't. But what I was thinking about in this little book, another buttonholes, this one's missing, is I need to turn this into a proper journal, don't I? Some of her course notes, buttons, darts. I don't see the dart. Oh, there it is. Overcast, zipper. Look at this piece of wool. Ooh, to get my hands on that. Dress placket. Set-in sleeve. Oh, look at this piece of wool. Maybe I could I snatch a little piece? It's even still got thread on it. No, I can't. Keyback interfacing, collars, hem interfacing. I hope you can see this. Maybe I could pop you down a little bit better. Oh, that's too far. There. Pattern drafting. She made her own patterns a lot. A-line, flare skirt, gore skirt, pleated skirt, slacks, culottes. She had beautiful writing too, didn't she? Bodices, back, panties. Oh, my mom made the best panties in the world, I tell you. She made both of our underwear. She made panties and bras and slips. But her panties were the most comfortable panties ever. This is all about panties. And then there's more. Well, this is hats over here. I think she had another book as well. I have another book of hers. This is all about the millinery. the hat making for drapes hats, or two drapes hats, brim hats, brim for Breton hat, that's a Breton hat, bias hats, all different kinds of things, soft hats, forms for hats, summer hats, pineapple hat, bubble hat, tiered bubble hat, like this. I remember that's something that was our age for a while. Wedge, two-tone, this piece of grosgrain ribbon. How to make a button. Straw hats. Yeah, so this little book is precious. I want to do something with it. I'd like to keep it in the same cover, but fix it and maybe stitch these things down. I don't know. Oh, to get my hands on that wool. But yeah, this is a treasure. Anyway, now that I have this, I can take this whole piece to the sewing machine and start stitching all of this down. And I can give you a tiny little sneak peek. This is upside down, mind you. But there. You've had a tiny little sneak peek, and I mean tiny because this is a big piece. So I am going to take this to the sewing machine. I've actually been up here since early this morning. The sun wasn't even up yet. And I came up and I couldn't sleep because I was fretting about this piece. How was I going to take this to the machine without messing up these two pieces here? And then I thought, well, you silly nut, why don't you can't see what I'm talking about, this piece here. Why don't you baste it? And then you don't have a problem. So that's what I've done. See, now it's on there. It's good. It's not going to go anywhere. So now I can go and do the rest of this. So the whole piece is pieced. It's all done, designed. Once I get this part all stitched down, then I can hand stitch up here what I want to do. I want to slow stitch up here. And then all that's left is the back. And the back is going to be strips of denim sewn together. And then I'm just going to attach it with a whip stitch around the outside. And then it'll be done. It's a wall hanging. And I know he is absolutely going to love this. I know this for a fact. So I'm going to go to the machine now. And you won't see this till after Christmas, the whole piece. But now you sort of have an idea what I've been doing. This has been very labor intensive, time consuming. Last count I was at 92 hours in this, and that was days ago. I have run into a snag. This is where my sewing machine is. It's up against this little wall. And it's not a very big table. And I tried to start to stitch my piece together, and there's not enough space, and I'm running into the wall, so I'm having to roll it up, and some of the pieces are shifting on me. So I went down and had some lunch and came back. While I was having lunch, I got a brainwave. I have this huge big table. I can do this standing up. So I'm going to clear this table off, set it up, put my machine at the other end, and that way I'll have this whole table to support my work, and I will be able to do a much easier job of it without having to roll the piece up or bunch it up. Yeah, it's going to be way better. So I've got to set this up now for the next step. There's always something, isn't there? That is going to be a lot better. I have this whole area to rest that piece on. It's going to be way better. Yeah. Good thinking, Dale. Now, back to work. I wanted to show you some echo printing that I did. I actually had some pretty good results this time, and I think it's because I did use mordant this time. I bought myself some, can't think of the name, on Amazon, and I morded this fabric, and I don't think this is even cotton. I think this is poly cotton actually, but I did get some pretty good results. This one is not that great, and I used leaves and onion skins. You can see a little bit of leaf. This side's nice. So I think it's not too bad considering that this isn't even 100% cotton. I was quite happy with this. It's the first time I've actually gotten anything that looked like this. I'll show you all the pieces I did. This is another one. This one turned out nice, and it's got some color in here. I think that might be the onion skin. And a little bit of leaf. It's hard to know. And it's got this line through the middle because it was like this. So you get this kind of funny little line. It had, I think I had some red onions in here as well. No tea. This was just mordant fabric and leaves and onion skins. That's all I had on here. I didn't have any tea on here. I didn't have vinegar or anything. This piece turned out the best. I love this little piece, and I do think this one is cotton. It has the feel of it, and it actually took the color way better than all the other ones. And I love where you wrap the string. So I steamed this, and this part here that's darker, that was closer to the steam. I should have flipped my roll over so that this side would also get it, but I never thought of that, but I will this time because I'm going to be doing some more today. So that turned out pretty good. This one's pretty good too, actually. This end is really nice. Where the steam hit is much nicer. But I do have some nice leaves on here. And my leaves, I didn't have, here's an oak leaf. That's pretty obvious. I just picked up leaves in my yard, really, and I don't have an oak tree, but for some reason, I had an oak leaves, and I don't see any oak leaves around here, or any oak trees. There's another nice leaf. So I did get some better leaves. I'm quite happy with this. For a first try with just mordant, this was the very outside piece, and it really is only good here. So I might redo this one. It's got a little bit of color to it, but I might redo this one. I might use it as a wrap again around the outside. But this time, I am going to be doing fabric and paper. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I've got a few sheets of sketchbook paper, and I have some watercolor paper. And I'm going to mordant this. It's going to go soaking in the mordant, because I want it to take up the color. And then all of these things that I've got here, I have already rust dyed and tea dyed. So now I'm going to try again and see what happens. This piece, I did this, it's an old tablecloth or something, and it has the rust on it, but I think I want more. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to put it in the mordant again, and I'm going to try it with the leaves and the onion skins and see where I get. This piece also, this was an old stitch piece of my mom's. I have tea dyed this already, and I have had some rust in it. So I'm going to try it again with the leaves. Same with this, was tea dyed. This was tea dyed. These were all little things I picked up at I don't know, when I still lived in Winnipeg. I picked up this little set. Who uses these anymore? I don't. but they are cotton. They're 100% cotton, so I think they might turn out really nice. And then I can just use this little piece for something too. So I have those. And I have this that I also tea-dyed. This is 100% cotton. In fact, I think this might even be linen. So this might be really good to do. I love the crochet on here. And then I have this little piece of cotton that I TN rust dyed, I think. I'm going to try that. And then I have a few little pieces of linen that I've previously rust dyed. I'm going to try those. And this one I had rust dyed before. This is cotton. So I'm going to redo some of these pieces because they weren't to my liking the first time around. Here's another piece of that linen, and I have a big piece of this and I can't find it. Obviously I'm not looking in the right place. Yeah, so, oh, and then I have, yeah, this one has been done before. This is just a white, this is a nice cotton sheet, so I'm going to try this one. So I've got a few bundles that I'm going to do. I'm going to do paper bundle, and I'm going to do a couple of cloth bundles, and we'll see what happens. Because I was quite inspired by my last result. I think I'm on the right track now as far as getting proper echo printing done. This is lovely. And I am going to be using some of this in my scroll that I will start working on after Christmas. Look at this piece. Isn't this gorgeous? I love it. Maybe something like this would be nice to incorporate in my mom's book. Now, wouldn't that be lovely? With some stitching on. Oh, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Okay, I'm going to go downstairs and mix up some mordant and get these other things soaking for the rest of this day anyway. Okay. So I'm steaming the paper bundle first. In my mother's old canner. I don't use this as a canner anymore. It's aluminum and I just don't use it. So that's been steaming for about an hour. I'm going to leave it for another couple hours. And in between time, I'm going to flip it around so that the other side gets some of the steam too. I did put a little bit of vinegar in the water this time, just to see if it's any different. Well, that's all I've got for you today. It's been kind of a mishmash of a video, hasn't it? But all my time has been spent working on that wall hanging, so don't really have a whole lot to share with you this week. Well, I did want to take a few minutes though and say a very heartfelt thank you to all of you who have inquired about Gary and sent prayers and well wishes for him. It's really meant a lot to me and to him as well. He is doing much, much better. He has actually gained 4 pounds in the last week or so, so that's a really good sign. And Tuesday, we start journeying the other way for him to start getting a lot of teeth fixed. When he was a teenager, he fell out of a Ferris wheel in Chicago, where he was living, and he fell on his face, hit the ground, obviously. I should explain better. There was a little shack with one of those corrugated roofs, and he fell through that, so that broke his fall. Otherwise, he would have not survived that. But he hit his face on the pavement when he fell, and all these teeth were knocked out. And at the time, this is back in the 70s, long before implants and things, they did implant teeth in there. And they've been fine up until now. And after he lost all this weight, they started loosening up his gums. Maybe his gums changed the shape, obviously, with all the weight loss, because he lost over 50 pounds in a very short time. And so his teeth, those teeth, they're really loose now. So that all has to come out. And he's going to get a partial plate put in there. So this is what he's doing. And they're all posts. They've put posts up into his gums. So it's going to be sort of like surgery. Better him than me. Anyway, that starts on Tuesday. So we're going to be going driving again for a while till we get him all settled. But he is doing way better. He's eating everything. So thank you again for all your kind words. It really has been very uplifting for both of us. So that's it for this week. I am going to stop talking, and I guess I have to go and make some supper. So thank you for watching so much, and take care, everybody, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.